and girls, I want you to join us in welcoming the world's greatest DJ. His name is Till Mix. Ooh yeah, we partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. They're the sexiest. Ooh yeah, partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. Till Mix. Ooh yeah, we partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. They're the sexiest. Ooh yeah, we partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. Till Mix. They're the sexiest. Ghosts, ghosts. No gay demon masks, just ghosts, ghosts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want you to join us in welcoming the world's greatest DJ. His name is Till Mix. Ooh yeah, we partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. They're the sexiest. Ooh yeah, partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. Till Mix. Ooh yeah, we partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. They're the sexiest. Ooh yeah, we partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. Till Mix. They're the sexiest. Ghosts, ghosts. ghosts. No gay demon masks, just ghosts, ghosts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want you to join us in welcoming the world's greatest DJ. His name is Till Mix. Ooh yeah, we partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. They're the sexiest. Ooh yeah, partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. Till Mix. Ooh yeah, we partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. They're the sexiest. Ooh yeah, we partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. Till Mix. They're the sexiest. Ghosts, ghosts. No gay demon masks, just ghosts, ghosts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want you to join us in welcoming the world's greatest DJ. His name is Till Mix. Ooh yeah, we partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. They're the sexiest. Ooh yeah, partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. Till Mix. Ooh yeah, we partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. They're the sexiest. Ooh yeah, we partying with ghosts, 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 ghosts. Till Mix.
people. Here we go. Who we got right here? Let me turn down this DJ Tilmax. Turn you down, DJ Tilmax, all the way. All right, there we go. We got young Clip. No, not young Clippa. We got the Clippa, the man, the myth, the legend. He in studio right here. Well, he's not in studio, but he is here today. Clippa, welcome. It's so good to see you. Even though you look like you might be hunted by a predator right now, I love the overlay and the filter. What do you got going on, buddy?
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, the overlay is, it is actually my camera that I'm using. I took the eye of a predator and I hooked up to the webcam. Yeah. And that's how you can see me now.
So you went one-on-one with the predator. Was that like, did you use the rubber bullets like the ICE agent did to poke out that girl's eye or that guy's eye the other day? Is that how you did it?
No, I have bone claws.
Oh, bone claws.
Fire. Stabbed it to death with my bone claws.
Hell yeah, let's fucking go. All right. Now, I mean, people, if you're out there, I got to show you something. I got this, I got my Clippa mug right here. Support Clippa, for sure. But I wanted to have you on because you're like one of the most interesting people that I've come across on the internet. And let me just tell you a little bit about how I discovered you back in the day. Back in the day, I was just doing a drawing. And then all of a sudden pops up this live stream when you're going around giving comic books away at old Eric July's meetup. You know, you had your cape, and then all of a sudden you get arrested. And I was like, bro, I had to stop everything right then and there. And I started doing cartoons about Clippa right there because I was so pissed off, bro. You just grabbed everybody's attention right then and there. How did that feel?
I felt that energy. No, when I was being arrested, I just thought to myself, like, well, this is the end of this season. And the next one's going to be a lot more interesting. I could tell there's going to be a lot more memes made, you know? It felt like the kind of moment that memes would be made of. Yeah. Whether they were making fun of me or not, like, they would exist, and that would be cool. It's actually a shame the other side didn't get in on the memetics more. Could you imagine if Friday Night Tights, like, and their fans, like, made fun of it better and had, like, more fun with it instead of just the one-sided us making fun of Eric July?
Well, don't they have the whole meme trooper thing? The Friday Night Tights has their whole meme group or whatever, and I really wish they would have got into it. They just ignored it, and the same thing with Eric July. It was a little bit sad. I couldn't believe it, you know what I'm saying? But it was really exciting.
At the time, I think everybody there thought that Eric July was like going to be a big deal going forward, that he was going to matter more, you know?
Yeah.
His videos used to get a lot more views, dude. If you go back to the first few videos he made about me or Vito, like Our Biggest Problem or Dick, you know, even before Eric and Ethan fell out and got to fighting, I mean, they were like 70,000, 100,000 views on those videos.
Yeah, oh, they did. They got a ton of videos, and not to mention that,
the boy crying wolf.
Yeah, facts. Not to and to mention those clips. Thank God for Katie Did. She's in the chat right now. Shout out to Katie Did. She says, "Hell, clip it." And I watched most of Eric's stuff through her clips, as a matter of fact. And you know, facts, bro. I can't I watch Trashcast or whatever.
I don't fucking watch Eric July.
Facts. In fact, you know, when you were being arrested and everything, I was so pissed off that I started doing a whole bunch of mock comic book covers, like I did this one, the snitch one, with you down here, pulls up. You were the only guy who actually pulled up. You know, I think I did about eight of these covers, and I'm so glad I get to show them to you. I did this one right here of Eric July. The thing I love most about this one is it says "bitch" right there underneath his hat. And I don't know if a lot of people caught that. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But you're one of the most creative people I know. What does creativity mean to you?
Creativity is the way that you express your relationship with the source, as you call it on your channel, to other people, you know?
Yeah,
so that could be like art,
good,
fashion, music, verbally.
Yeah.
Like some people are podcasters. I'm not. To warn your audience, I'm not a very good speakist, but some people are like really good at talking on a mic. Some people are good at other things, you know, and then whatever that they're really good at, they're probably getting it from whatever higher power there is. You know, for me, it's the great magnet. And then expressing that is the creativity.
Now, have you always been creative, or when did you realize you were a creative person? Like a lot of kids, they draw or whatever, and then there's that moment where they just, like they're 10 or 11 or 12 and they fall in love with drawing. You know, you do music, you do video, you do all this kind of like performance art. When did you realize you were creative?
I've always written. I've written a lot my whole life. There's some published pieces going back to when I'm in second, third grade in writers' festivals, cowboy poetry stuff that I was doing. And I've always been interested in various arts. Like I can't call myself any one thing. I call myself a producer if I have to because I'll produce content or help other people produce content. But ultimately, like I used to do graffiti in tunnels, and I'll send you some of those pictures later. But I used to go down in the tunnels where I went to high school at, and me and some friends we'd graffiti stuff, and I could pull off a pretty sweet Batman. You can recognize it. Now, if I would try to scale that down onto paper, I can't really. I don't have like the fingers for it. I'm sure I could learn. It's one of those things where I could learn to draw, and I just didn't put a lot of time into that skill point.
Yeah. What was the first third party point of validation? For a lot of artists, it's the first time they sell a piece of artwork, or the first time like a musician gets like this like standing ovation. Do you remember what the first like third party validation you got for your creativity was?
Well, okay, I'll split it into the first one and then the one that like hit me the first time.
Okay.
The first one was I was like second or third grade, and my dad got me published through the school system or whatever for cowboy poetry shit. I think you could find it out there. If I ever piss off all of Liam's haters, they'll be able to find my worst works out there somewhere.
All the autists,
Yeah, exactly. But and then the one that actually mattered, I was in 10th or 11th grade. No, I was in 11th grade. So I'm meeting my teacher, my English teacher, in my 11th grade year for the first time, and I walk up into the trailer, and she stops me at the door and is like, "Oh, Riley, I like your writing." And she like shakes my hand because of something that I had written last year for a different thing.
Oh, wow.
So then I was like, "Oh, okay, my teacher's a fan of my writing. Like, that's like my next step in life as far as confidence goes."
Yeah, that's big, man. If a teacher comes up to you...
I spent the rest of high school like teaching the creative writing class for another teacher of mine. Like he was a baseball coach, so he was happy to let me come up with the prompts and the ideas and like to run it for the class. And so I mean, I binge watched TV my entire life. Like go back to Supernatural and Smallville, and like that somewhere in high school I stopped just watching stuff and started also writing it.
Oh, okay.
Probably because of that teacher.
Now, did
liking
TV,
whatever essay.
Did TV have a big impact on you? Was that like your primary influence when you were growing up?
Yeah, well, TV and books. I had a lot of comic books specifically around. So.
Oh yeah, what kind of comic books were the first ones that made you fall in love with the art form?
Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, there's I don't remember which issue, but I think the first Spider-Man comic that I cared about was the one where him and Wolverine switched bodies. I've talked about this on another Comics Kid show a couple years ago, and someone looked it up and found the number, but I forgot it again. But that got me to want to read the whole Ultimate Spider-Man run, and then I got Ultimate Fantastic Four, et cetera, and then realizing I'd prefer like these DC characters over the Marvel characters was a whole exploration, and that led me to like Garth Ennis is like probably one of my favorite comic book writers. Preacher is my favorite like comic book if I had to pick a series. Other than like Wolverine, a character, like Preacher is like a series, and so that journey was definitely based on just like stacks of random comics that my dad would give me.
And then you kind of
he wasn't around a lot,
filter
so
through.
he'd just buy a bunch of shit and give it to me. Some video games, comics, etc. And I liked books more than video games.
What kind of books are your standout books? Do you remember reading? If I had to say like your favorite.
Oh man, a lot of them are like boring now and like really mainstream now, right?
Yeah.
But when I was reading The Walking Dead, it still felt niche. It was like before my friends' moms were watching the show. Mm-hmm. When I was like 11, 12, 13. Like I'm reading The Walking Dead and I'm really caring about it.
Yeah.
Or other Kirkman stuff. I think I had Battle Pope and what's his pre-invincible superhero thing? Capes. Like my dad would get shit like that, like in cheap comics from the comic store at the time, instead of like the mainstream comics, and so he would just throw them at me.
Yeah, and did that feel like? Were you connected more of that because your dad gave them to you? I mean, I'm sure you would.
Oh,
you were, right? Yeah, you were like, oh wow, this is from my dad. I'm gonna bond over it.
He traveled for work, so when I was younger, he would call me on the phone, and we would he would read to me as a baby.
Oh wow!
Like all the time. And when I grew out of like him wanting to call me on the phone and read to me when I'm like 7, 8, that's when he just started throwing books at me. But I mean, also like the great American classics, you know, like Henry Crusoe or like the Swiss Family Robinson and stuff like that. Like he made me read all the great illustrated classics books.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
yeah. I have a pretty big...
You know what, to brag, Ray, actually. I was going to say not to brag, but to brag. There was a plaque in my school for the most words read at one point. When I was in middle school.
Did you get the plaque?
Yeah. Most words read. Yeah, it was made for me. It was like invented for me because I took the most AR tests. I don't know if you know what accelerated reading tests were, but in the 2010s at least, and the early 2000s, the school I went to, every school I went to, from Arkansas to Oklahoma to Nevada, and Texas, they all had AR, which was accelerated reading. And you'd read a book and then take a test on it for points, and it would it would like offset me not doing homework ever.
Wow,
just a little bit.
We had a reading program like that when I was in elementary school, and you got rewards based upon how much you read, and how much you read, you would have this little figure that would go across the mountains of this fake map. And the map was the entire wall of the gymnasium. And so you would get to track your little, your little figure, your little Post-it or whatever it was. It was like a laminated picture of yourself across this map. And it was really fun. And it was like for about the whole year. And at the end of the year, we would have a sleepover. And it was awesome. And so I love those little programs where they try to help to incite and encourage the kids to do that kind of thing. I find that's fantastic.
Well, I didn't know that I was being tracked like that way and that they were going to make a big deal about it at the assembly, so I kind of stopped doing AR tests after that. Because like, I was very uncomfortable with attention when I was younger.
Yeah, oh, okay.
I mean, you'd be really surprised, man. Like, I couldn't eat lunch in the cafeteria with the other kids till like 9th grade. I had to do aversion therapy.
So you were a pretty big introvert then. Why do you? It's so interesting that you're now, so much of an extrovert, or you seem like an extrovert because you do so much media and you have such a strong media presence. What was it that got you to change from introvert to become an extrovert? Was it just that you went to those therapy classes, or what made you want to do that?
Yeah, well, to be real with you, in the absence of friends, I got really into like manga. To be real with you, weird shit, right? Like, I'm like reading Yu-Gi-Oh, 300 chapters of Yu-Gi-Oh, and in Arkansas when I was growing up, like anime had like a bubble where now it's like totally normal.
Yeah.
Like, you remember the cutoff though, right? It was like 2014, 2013. Like anything before that was weird. Mm-hmm. So in 2010, I'm reading Yu-Gi-Oh at school, and people are making fun of me being on my tablet reading Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever. And I just. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to have friends, right?
Yeah.
So I just stopped being a weirdo, I guess is how I'd put it. I mean, I still like all the things I like, but now I can discuss Yu-Gi-Oh in a way that's not ostracizing to women. I can make girls sit down and watch zero season fucking undubbed regular, the first 20 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh that haven't been dubbed by 4Kids or whatever. I've had women watch that with me. Okay, yeah. So it's like you can change how they perceive it by just changing how you behave socially.
Yeah, it's a very strong thing about with women. If you channel enough passion and enough charisma, they'll get on board for just about anything. I mean, I've had friends that have dated heroin addicts before. I'm like, why are you still with this guy? And they're like, oh, he's just so real and all this kind of. I'm like, bro, he's a heroin addict, dog. Get over that shit. You know what I mean? When was the first time that you started doing video? Like, how did you get into doing videos?
I just watched a lot of YouTube growing up, like everybody my age would have necessarily done, and I thought I could do that too. And then once I started wanting to do it, I realized that everybody else who's doing it they weren't doing it as well as they could be. Like maybe they could make a checklist and go over a couple items before they start doing it.
Yeah.
And then if they were a little more prepared, then they'd have a better go at it. So I started shifting my mentality towards like helping people. It was local in the rap scene at the time, like 2018, 2019 in Elko, Nevada. I had graduated. I was hanging out with friends all the time, just doing like, smoking weed and shooting up heroin as much as we could,
Staying
cool
thin.
Guy shit, staying thin, right? No, we'd skateboard and shit. And I started filming some people doing skateboarding videos because their videos, when they'd film them, would suck. And then that means like, well, I'm not doing the skateboard video now. So now there's no cool videos of me skateboarding because I'm filming these guys.
Right.
And I guess instead of fighting against that, I just kept doing it.
Yeah.
Like I liked it.
Yeah, it's so cool because you just kind of exploded onto the scene. I remember the first time I heard about you versus saw you was Mersh from Nightwave Radio, the ROTC guys. Mersh was talking about you, and he actually showed one of your clips on stream, and you were gonna run up a hill to shave Eric July's hair off his shoulders, and I was just like, "What the hell? What's going on here? What is this all about?" But it was so wild that it made me want to find out what the hell was going on. And why is this guy training by running up hills? Why is he so mad about arm hair? I didn't get any of it, And so then I had to, but it's that creativity. When did you start becoming like more of a performer rather than behind the scenes kind of camera guy?
The same hip hop scene. My buddy Cross, rest in peace. He got me into freestyle rapping, and because I was already the guy who was like making the flyers with the Canva app, and back when it was really low utility, you had to like really work at it.
Yeah.
So I'm like making the flyers for everybody and stuff, and I get my chance to go up there and like MC it, go up on the stage, be the master of ceremonies. And instead of just announcing names, like I'd freestyle a little, do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it grew me a lot of confidence. This was before the pandemic like crashed out hip hop, and I only started working with helping Dick book guests on the Dick Show like the end of 2019, like October, somewhere around there, maybe summer of 2019. I had done a meme contest for John McAfee, and I had won, and so we'd become friends during his presidential election in 2016. So I was able to book him
you
on
and
the
John
Dick Show.
McAfee became friends. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll notice I have like a certain like sort of smug self-confidence behind me that everyone else attributes to Dick liking me, but I attribute to John McAfee having liked me.
Yeah.
And it's like that guy's like way cooler than everybody else. Like he's
Yeah.
the last outlaw, last pirate. Like
He was the
last true
outlaw.
American outlaw, bro.
Yeah, he was flying drones off his ship, off his boat
Yes,
over
he
there.
was.
Yeah,
I got
he's
invited
awesome.
to the Freedom Yacht, bro.
That's incredible. Brody, did you go?
No.
Oh, man.
Huge regret. One of my 2 life regrets.
Oh, what's your other one, if you want to share? What's your other big life regret?
That one's a secret for now.
Okay, we'll keep it a secret. Now, so you did a meme contest. You became buddies with John McAfee, and then how did you end up landing the gig working for a booker for the Dick Show?
Well, I love the show. I like the Dick Show, and I would constantly engage as a fan. And then when I think he was just talking about John, I guess, and I was like, oh, I know that guy. Like, so I DM'd him and hooked that all up. And
Wow.
he called in a couple times. Then he did that whole podcast run, like with Mersh and
Yeah.
Costume and
Yeah.
and like John, I set that off. I like showed him how fun it was to talk to these guys because John hated podcasts.
Yeah.
Because he hated Joe Rogan. Because he
Oh.
felt like Joe Rogan fucked him over.
Yeah.
They had a series of interactions in the past, and like they did a podcast together. And if you listen to Mac's side of things, Joe Rogan stole his midgets, 2 midgets that John had. Like Joe
Yeah.
straight up stole them at a night at a club. Like it's
Wow.
just like crazy shit,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I bet I bet that guy has some crazy wild stories, bro. Yeah, Freedom Yacht, damn, bro. That would have been fucking dope to go to that kind of thing. So then,
hang out in his Faraday cage, watch him play piano and coke. I wasn't like wild back then. Again, that was like pre-pandemic. I'm like,
so you're a little bit more tame. Were you living in LA at that time? Or were you
no,
in another?
never.
You never living in LA. Okay.
No,
so
not an LA guy.
Not an LA guy. Okay, I didn't know that. That's fantastic
yeah.
to know. Yeah, but a lot of people.
Do I give LA vibes?
No, I just kind of pictured like if you were going to be a booker for Dick, maybe you met him somehow like being on the scene in LA. I know they do a lot of video
like a Howard
in LA.
Stern joke. It's like a Benji Bork joke, and
Yeah.
like making fun of Shagget at the time, who was like friends with Baked Alaska and came on, and he was on the show and he was being like a huge queer, talking about male friendships and stuff. So my first appearance in the Dick Show after I'd booked John on, I was like, hey, I'm a SoundCloud rapper, like introducing myself, and Dick just says, no, you're the producer of the Dick Show. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And then I started booking people. It really was the other way around. It was like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
all
And
things flow from comedy around here.
Yeah, I love it. And a lot of people don't know that you do make music, or maybe they do know that you make music, but they need to know more that you make music. How did you get into music?
That hip hop scene was like everything. Like if I could trace back who I am right now, it started in Elko, Nevada's 2017 to 2019 like hip hop scene push, where we were trying to get bars to let a bunch of teenagers and college students do concerts in like Elko, Nevada, which is like a small cowboy town.
I've driven through there. It is very tiny. Yeah.
So that's where I'm from. That's where I'm from. Like I was born in Arkansas and I've lived in a lot of other places, but I'm from Elko, Nevada. The little hotel town you drove through.
Yeah, it is tiny, and it is. I remember it because it's one of the stops as you drive back east. You know, when you drive from California, it's about an 8-hour trip right then, and you land right there. And yeah, Forrest Mommy says it's off the 80. Yeah, I believe it's right off the 80 right there. I-80. So that's crazy, bro. So then you get into
one of
music.
like 3 cities in Nevada for for what it's worth. There's like Las Vegas, Carson, and Elko are the only.
Yeah.
Or Carson is Reno.
Yeah. So then the pandemic comes up and it hits you pretty hard. How did that impact you?
Destroys live music.
Yeah,
destroys live music entirely.
Entirely.
So from the scene, we had built connections to rappers outside of it and hip hop people and stuff. I've gotten to hang out with Spice One, Tupac's best friend when he was alive. Yeah. I've got to hang out with. Well, I'm not going to name drop a bunch, but I've got to have I got to live my rap fantasy for a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
And. When COVID hit, I had my first rap tour that I produced, a whole nationwide tour from St. Louis all the way across the country, zigzagging through 33 states.
Wow.
33 cities, 33 shows, 12 states, I think, all the way up to Seattle and Portland and stuff. And it was awesome. And we did this tour during the coronavirus, and it was like the last tour. Like we had to do our Vegas show in an Airbnb at the last second. We had to get a house party hip hop show going instead of doing a show in Vegas because they had just turned the lights off.
Wow.
Like in the Strip. Yeah, so it was like June or whatever,
Yeah, and that was the first time the lights had ever been off, since they were...
maybe that was April the lights were off, but I went through there when the lights were off, and we did a show that got canceled there at the same time.
That must have been eerie. So then after that, you have to reinvent yourself.
Oh, it was, dude. Oh, that was crazy, Ray.
Yeah, I imagine, right? Like, no lights. Like, what did it feel like when you went through there with no lights in Vegas?
It was, like, existential for me because living in Nevada, living up in Elko, there's one place to go on the weekend or to have fun if you're a teenager. And for the longest time, you could definitely underage drink everywhere in the Strip. It's different now. Now it seems tighter. COVID changed a lot. But throughout high school, we'd make that 8-hour drive like on the weekend and spend all of Saturday night getting totally fucked up, and like we'd inch our way back Sunday so that we could go back to school.
Claw back with that
hangover. We'd be on acid, or we'd be on whatever we could get and do. Too, because like taking acid to the Strip was the way to do it underage. If you're 19, you can't really have as much fun unless you're looking at all the lights on acid.
Yeah.
So the opposite of that. Like, I can't think of a more opposite of that than all the lights being turned off. The fountains were going. I've got some footage of it. I'll have to find and send your way.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Eerie.
I'd love to see it. And for you, that was a huge deal because, like you said, you knew Vegas like the back of your hand, on and off acid. And then you go there and it's all completely shut down. So that kind of was a symbolic for, I guess you had to recreate yourself, when you left the hip hop scene, I guess. Is that what you did? Because it died.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was dead. And I was talking to Dick Moore, and I was friends with Stereos back in the day, Dick Show collaborator, Stereos Kokonos. And I tossed him the name for his live shows, the Stereos Shokonos, and I had helped him make like a poster or two. And I was helping him do a show in Atlanta with our friend Alan Foster, rest in peace. The thank you for not killing yourself thing is because of how many deaths we've had in the Dick Show community.
Yeah.
Alan was one of those, unfortunately, after a Vegas show.
Yeah.
So that was my gateway into like this live comedy thing and like trying to work more on the internet was that I went to Atlanta and I helped the Stereos throw a live show there. Right around, it was like the day before the Atlanta Road Rage that Dick had done, and I didn't go to that one because I was underage, but that's what pulled me in, and then from there it was just like, well, what do I do next? What's the next thing? So Stereos did a little tour. I helped him with his little tour, like Chicago and Detroit and stuff like that. The New York one. We did New York. I met Justin Wang and Mumkey Jones back when they were working together. It was a really fun time. It's in Maddox's documentary, his Copumentary that he released.
Okay.
There's a really funny picture of like Justin Wang and Asterios and my old roommate Bird like in the middle, and Maddox's edit has it like folded over Bird, and we just think that's fucking hilarious.
Trying to get rid of him. That's crazy.
Because like he knows who he is. Like Maddox knows who he is for being my roommate and everything, and
Yeah.
so from there, I start going to the Dick Show road rages, Vegas,
Okay.
and I meet Dick at Vegas, and we talk a little bit. And then I introduce him to McAfee, and that all is right about at the same time. And I guess that's why I left the hip hop stuff, left music stuff, wanted to do internet stuff. Dick obviously has like a nice career going.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you're like, oh, this is a doable thing. I'm not gonna make as much as he is, but I could
you see it's
probably
possible.
make a living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see it's possible. That was one of the things that impacted me when very first I learned about Eric July when he started doing his comic book. I had never considered comics before because I knew you didn't really make money at them. You'd have to be a salary employee with Marvel or whatever, but then still they made a ton of money and you didn't make money. But then when I saw him make the money, I was like, oh, it's possible. So that's when the idea entered my mind because I had a similar experience that you did. COVID really crushed my whole career and all that kind of stuff, and I had to reinvent myself, find myself on the internet like I have now. And now that I see you, so you start working with the Dick Show, you start booking people, and at what point did Vito enter the scene?
Oh, dude, I was a fan of Vito in 2019, and I at some point booked him on the show. It was one of those rare ones. Every couple of years, there's like a guy who lives in LA who I think would get along with Dick. You know, the most recent one was Adam Bush from WATP.
Yeah.
Like he went in studio. So before that, it was like Vito was like a guy that when he first showed up in my YouTube feed for the Star Wars shit, I knew there was no way Dick would care at all.
Yeah.
No possible fucking chance Dick cares about what's wrong with Star Wars 8. Okay?
Yeah.
But then the Belle Delphine vaping video, I was like, this is funny. And it went viral, and Pyrocynical, I think, fell for it. A bunch of like stupid YouTube and streamers like fell for it. And so for a minute, Vito was the most hated person on the internet. And this is where he thrives, by the way. He's very good at being that guy.
Yeah.
He's not good at not being that guy at all.
Yeah.
So I booked him on the Dick Show over that. I knew that Dick would think that was funny. And he came in. He wouldn't leave. I mean, if you go back, you'll see he was on a lot of Dick Show episodes.
Yeah.
He was on a lot before Dick was like, well, why don't we just spin this off into like a biggest problem?
Yeah. Plus,
that's what the show was anyway.
Yeah.
The co-host search.
Yeah. And so then that made sense, you know, and I think Vito's hilarious. He's got a good voice, you know. He's great on camera, and only when he gets in his head does it kind of fuck him up. But so then you started. When did the whole clippaverse thing come into your mind? Like, what about Eric July caught your attention? Like, what was it?
So you know we're I don't know 40 is it 40 or 50 episodes episodes into the biggest. See how I think though?
Yeah.
We're like 40 episodes into the biggest problem in the universe, and Dick starts picking on Eric July before the books are even coming out. And you know, my friend Tony from Act the Movies calls in and accuses Dick of being racist for hating on black-owned businesses, and
Clearly,
so all that stuff happens.
Yeah.
That's like the introduction to Eric to all of our stuff. For me, it was realizing he doesn't like comic books. He would talk about his favorite. He said his favorite. I heard him say his favorite superhero was Static Shock, and I was like, well, that's the cartoon's title. That's not the comic book series or comic character's name. Like little shit like that would start to fuck with me.
Yeah, kind of
well, you know, like a Hot Topic fan.
Yeah.
All right, I was cursed, and you must have had this worse than me. If you liked things like Batman in the '90s,
Oh yeah.
people started wearing Batman who didn't like Batman.
Oh yeah.
I had to go to school with people who I would try to talk to about what they're wearing, and they would not have any context outside of like, oh, that Batman movie in the theaters, like, you know,
Right.
or the Hulk. The Hulk was especially bad.
Yeah.
The 2004 Hulk movie I didn't get to experience, but I had merch from, and then the 2007, 2008 one, I had to like deal with everybody wearing Hulk stuff, and they didn't like Hulk last month when I had Hulk stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that really bothered me.
It just changed, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then throughout high school, it's like Batman. Everybody had Batman shirts, and I couldn't talk about Batman with any of these bitches, bro.
Right, yeah,
So
it's just
Eric was that guy.
those little lies that just kind of trip you up. It's kind of like Ken of the
Yeah.
North in the chat. He says his favorite comic was Batman the Animated Series, and it's like, yeah, it wasn't a
Right.
comic; it was an animated series. And if you're passionate about this kind of stuff,
Most people think of Static as Static Shock, sure, but just say like you're just like a big fan of Static, or of the show Static Shock, or whatever. Eric trying to pass him off as a comic book expert always really bothered me because even when you look at his channel, he reviewed Batwoman positively. He reviewed a few episodes of Black Lightning positively and then stopped talking about it. Which, by the way, that's the plot of Isom, the first episode of Black Lightning. A retired superhero, black guy, goes back into it after a female relative is kidnapped by an old rival of his. He's an albino in Black Lightning, and he's just a white guy. Or
Yeah.
he's just a black guy in Isom. But,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's just the same, like, beat for beat as that
yeah,
opening CW show. And when you go find Eric's review of that CW show, and I played it on an early Clippaverse show, he was all about it. Like, he loved it, and he's like, this is actually what CW should do. And then, like, 2 years later, he has his own, and it's that. It's just the same thing.
yeah,
So I'm noticing this shit, right? Because I really
Right.
love this stuff.
yeah.
And I love Comicsgate, but I think that it's fair to say that probably 70% of people in Comicsgate don't actually read that many comic books.
Okay.
Or maybe they have, and it's totally valid. You can read 400 comic books and stop in the 90s when they start getting bad.
Sure.
That's totally valid. But I'm just always constantly reading. I'm young, so I'm still trying to catch up to the old stuff, and I'm consuming new stuff that comes out. So I feel like I'm very aware of what comic books there are, and then same thing with TV shows and movies, especially in the genre, superhero stuff or sci-fi.
Well, yeah, and when those little lies don't match up, it just becomes like an irritant that you have to get at, right? And so
And
is
Eric
that
has
what?
like 1,000 of those a stream. Like
Yeah, all the time, right? And so was that the impetus? Like, where were you? Do you remember where you were when you were like, oh, I'll be the Clippaverse. I'll cut his arm hair. Like, how did that come down?
I just noticed that in that video where he was threatening. No, it was It was in the video where he was talking to the SJW guy. That he didn't know the Spider-Man, right? He didn't know Amazing Fantasy.
Amazing Fantasy 15, yeah.
So it's like, okay, Eric, I heard that, and then I ordered a red tank top and had Mint parody the logo, and because he was wearing the tank top and he had the shoulder hair, I just
That's
took a
right.
gamble that I'd be like, I'm gonna change his behavior, social engineering. I'm gonna make him not wear a tank top because it's not professional, and it's like a minute thing I can change about you. I can make you shave your shoulder hair or wear a real shirt.
Yeah.
And you'll see in the future going forward, as it became a meme, you'll see like when he's not wearing a tank top, and it kind of feels like on purpose. It's very funny.
No, you definitely
Any
see
video
it.
about me, he's not wearing a tank top in, right?
Yeah,
Like, if he's doing a lecture about me.
You definitely see that he's susceptible to that outside influence. I mean, like he changes his shirt, he covers his shoulders. EVS
Everyone else,
even
by the way, at the
said, "Cut
Rippaverse
your
loved it. Everyone at the Rippaverse loved it at first. Like, they were laughing along with my super chat. I was sending them hundreds of dollars of super chat money, like just saying I'm gonna shave Eric's hair, and they were all laughing along about how I'm a weirdo. And then Eric got really like insecure about them laughing at it.
Oh wow.
So you can go back and see that too.
Yeah, he is very insecure. Even EVS says, cut your beard. The next stream must show up with his beard
Caves it.
adjusted and cut. So then you go ahead and you cut the promo, or it's kind of like a wrestling promo where you're like the Clippaverse. I'm coming after you to cut your hair. And what was the big?
First it was just the logo and a fake shirt and like a tweet, and then he got the shirt store taken down and flagged my Twitter down. Like Alex did it, Alex Miller.
Yeah.
And so then I came back on the new Twitter. I was like, well, in revenge for you having flagged me, I'm going to walk up this hill outside of my house every day until I'm fit enough to walk to Texas and shave you. And I mean, it's just the stupidest series of words. The series of words I hit veto with was like, I'm going to commit a series of escalating crimes that California will not prosecute. Get ready for property damage and theft.
Yeah.
So it's like, the devil's in the details of these things.
Well, all of those things come together in a creative fashion to generate interest. And the proof that it's working is the interest that it generates. And you definitely grab the entire, that little bubble of the internet.
Dick and Mersh ignored it for a few weeks, right? Like, it was funny because it's like commitment can make something funnier, right? Kristen Shaw as a horse gets funnier and unfunny and funnier and unfunny. And so
Right.
you've got to like have the right number. I did a total of like 50 or 60 hill videos.
Oh,
I did it
really?
like every day for like 60 days, dude. I wish you had seen them all.
Did
I don't
you
have them all even.
did you lose any weight while you were doing that?
No, not at all. I mean, it was a hill I was walking up anyway. It
Yeah.
wouldn't have materially changed my life. I wouldn't have done it if it was like a new thing to do.
Yeah.
I just we used to film a lot downtown, and we live right up. I live right uptown, so I'd go down there and film.
Yeah. It caught my attention. It went viral. Everybody was talking about it. And I guess at the point where Eric July got really mad about it is when you kind of like, okay, I got this in the bag. I got to keep doing this.
Yeah, so Mersh talking about it was, I think, the first person who was giving it show play. Like, look at this goofball doing this. Eric's afraid of it, and Eric started untagging himself in all those posts. And so then, yeah, when I'm going to the Biggest Problem 108 show, which I'd say Vito says I have nothing to do with the show. I don't claim that I like produced the biggest problem in the universe. I wasn't trying to participate or over participate or whatever. But I definitely made content for the show and stopping at Eric's warehouse on the way to their live show that I had flown Vito's editor into, the guy who was paying those $50 clips. I flew that guy into the 108 show, and I flew on the John the Niggler in so that he could do his bit at the 108 show. So I mean, like, that's my type of producing the live show, you know.
And that's production. You're
Helping
pulling
out with that.
Yeah, you're pulling strings. You're making things happen, and those are the video clips that people remember, like still to this day. That was the first time I saw the Niggler, and I was like, "Oh, who's this guy?" You know. And
There
so
you
I
go.
thought that was hilarious. I didn't even know who
Dude, that
he was.
confetti cost Vito like $200.
Yeah.
Dick and Vito, they had to pay a cleaning fee. What a
Yeah.
niggle, you know?
Yeah, that's the perfect niggle. Yeah, that's hilarious. He always does those little things like putting sand in your shoes and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I love it when that kind of stuff happens, and that's how you remember. It stays
300,000
viral.
views.
Yeah, it stays.
300,000 views on that tweet before it got taken down. Of 40 seconds outside of a warehouse at night, bro.
Yeah. It's incredible, and then people are talking about it for the next 2 weeks. Now that's got to feel great, right? That's some huge validation right there.
On my way from Texas to LA on the rest of the trip, Eric invites himself on a Knicks stream to argue about fences, and it never stopped being talked about.
Yeah.
So it's not like there was ever a thing after that being talked about. Like, it's still being talked about today.
Yeah, and
So-
and even beyond that, you know, with Dick and with Vito, I mean, it's still, you're the arch nemesis to the whole Rippaverse, you know, and so as long as that juggernaut of the Rippaverse keeps going, people are going to talk about you in the same breath, and that's a very creative thing to do, to position yourself, socially in that aspect.
Sucks
so that
for Eric.
You ride that coattail. Yeah, you ride that coattail all the time. I think that's genius, really.
I hope he gets a movie deal. I hope he sells his shit to Viacom somehow. Some
Yeah.
retard at Nickelodeon wants to make the adult like the ISOM for teenagers, you know?
Oh, facts,
Like-
bro, facts.
Because I would welcome any kind of success that he faced. I'm really sad that he burned out this way, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing how it just kind of got quieter and quieter, and it seems like desperation might be overtaking him. You know, I always love to see independent people succeed. I don't like to see them. My big thing about Eric July is I didn't like him coming into an industry that other people had basically given their lives to, and then tried to supplant them. I didn't appreciate that, and so that's my whole beef with him. I don't even know him personally or anything like
And
that.
infiltrating the scene with Cliff Richards, who did do the Peruvian gay comic book.
Yeah.
Like, Cliff Richards did one of the issues of that comic book that USAID discovered.
Yeah.
That doesn't get talked about enough because Cliff Richards is also scamming the ISOM audience and the ISOM 2 fans.
Yeah.
It wasn't until ISOM 3, and I have all the books and I've read them all.
Yeah.
It's not until ISOM 3 that there's drawings in the books
Yeah.
because of the backlash to the 3D models.
Yeah, facts. And I still have my ISOM 1 up there on the shelf. I haven't cracked it open. I remember receiving it, looking at it, and I was so disappointed. One of the biggest things that he did, that I take personal umbrage was how he handled Shane Davis's cover by making it $100, and I feel like he really did Shane dirty there, and I kind of hurt for Shane on that, and it makes me a little bit upset. And so all these things add up, right? And over time, it's like, it's not any one thing. It's just a whole summation of all of these egregious acts, I guess that you want to say, that are miniature, that kind of add up, and you kind of like develop this hatred or this anger or whatever you want to call it. And I think the perfect outlet, is how you've done the videos for clippaverse, and how it even expanded to other areas. Now, going forward, how do you see yourself going forward? Are you still going to do the clippaverse? Are you going to be Clippa? What are you going to do going forward?
Yeah, well, the clippaverse is strong. Okay, the clippaverse is purposeful. It's if I had to describe the way that I feel towards people like Eric July, or now, Vito, it's a sort of a dharmic anger.
Yeah.
Like a very purposeful, like righteous, like necessitation. Okay, like not a jester's privilege, but a jester's obligation.
Yeah.
To fight these people, and to point out, and to hold the black mirror up, and like make Eric look like a retard by showing everybody how fucking stupid it looks for a hairy short guy who's not that in shape to scream in a tank top. Like, that's what the Clippa character is. Okay, and Eric felt every fucking second of it.
Yeah, facts. Now he's kind of like, Clippa's kind of like Wolverine a little bit without the chops. But no, you're right with Vito, and I like Vito, but he does seem to be going down a similar path as Eric July. Like, are you gonna go on?
Well, we've come a long way from the Matt Barr like Walmart shopping trip clippaverse video I made, where it's
Yeah.
like I made that video for Vito. That's crazy. Like, I really believed in Superkiller, and on reflection, any umbrage I had with that group of people, the CG slums, is like, why are you getting in here to try to undercut Vito's attempt or opportunity and making something good?
Right.
And by calling him a pedophile, no less.
Yeah.
Because and so that's why I went so hard at that group of people, and at Matt specifically, and Matt's reaction to me kind of opened up, less opened up, but like revealed that he was going through a bunch of other problems, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
That's what EVS came to find out, is that Matt had some issues, some head wounds to deal with.
Yeah, facts.
Regardless of me. But, going forward, people like Vito are going to be made fun of. He's not like important, or, okay, let me put it this way. The reason that I think Eric July is such a righteous target for dharmic anger is because he can set a negative influence to a lot of people, and he can convince people who try very hard to try less hard. He can convince people who are like scam-minded like Vito that they should make a comic book too. That it'd be easy if I did it. And I think that he had an overall negative effect on people that would have grown exponentially over time, over not very long of a time, if he hadn't been made fun of.
That's
so
a great point.
way, I think that making fun of people is like, it's important. Schoolyard bullying is necessary.
Yeah, like put them in the locker kind of thing. And, it's very interesting, too, that the Superkiller book still hasn't been printed yet. Yeah, go on.
No, it hasn't. With Eric July or with Vito or something, imagine you're in school, right? And there's this one kid going around selling all the retarded kids Oreos, but it's like toothpaste in the middle of the Oreo instead of like Oreo filling. And they're all getting sick, and the retarded kids don't know any better, and they keep paying for Oreos. Yeah. And, like, you can make fun of that guy, like bully that guy. Yeah. Whoever's doing that, whoever's giving the retarded kids like the toothpaste and making them sick is a bad person.
Yeah.
And you can, and that's what bullying is for, actually.
Yeah, the people's champ.
Jocks do it.
Yeah, basically being the people's champ. Well, I make the argument all the time that the jocks are more invested in the social, ecology of the high school than the nerds are, because the jocks work every day. They're on the football team. They bring pride. They, all that kind of stuff. They bring a lot more to the table than somebody on the outside who just develops like, a villain arc to try to get it back. And I've had the theory that what we're living in right now is basically the movie Revenge of the Nerds, where ever since COVID happened, the online type of culture has spread to real life, and we got the nerds acting out, and everything's becoming chaos. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I just agree.
Yeah.
I have nothing clever to add. I think that's what's happening. I think it's a little more like Yellow Jackets because everyone's a female about it. It's not very Lord of the Rings. It's very Yellow Jackets. But
no, I completely agree with you. I think online culture is very feminine. Everybody
Facts.
gets hurt about everything. You can't say too many jokes. You can't use the wrong word, the wrong tone. You know, people switch on a dime. Then they, you know, anytime you get excommunicated, that's a very female kind of thing, you know. So I'm going to kick you out of the group. Whereas a male-oriented type of society would like beat that motherfucker into submission until they come around, or they win, they become the leader of the group. Either way, you know, kind of like.
And I mean, look, you only have to get hit a couple times, okay? Like in the proverbial sense of it all. You know, when Hunter Thompson joined the Hell's Angels, he had to get jumped. You have to get jumped in.
Yeah.
That's just kind of there's like a rite of passage here, and I think a lot of guys they didn't get any of this social back and forth, or you know. The other way it goes is if we're talking about Vito, the guy who hasn't printed his comic book yet, he was a bully growing up. So he's on the other end of like, I don't know if you heard the bonus episode story of him pissing in the kid's sled and then like pushing the kid down the hill in the sled. So
No,
the
I didn't
kid's
hear that.
face supplanted into a pile of piss.
Oh, wow.
A puddle of piss. But
Yeah.
Vito did that to a kid because he thought it would impress the older kids.
Yeah. Wow. No, that's
Yeah, like,
crazy.
that's who
That's
Vito
some wild
is when he
shit,
can
bro.
be.
Yeah, that's wild shit. And you can see it like when we're watching The Biggest Problem. You know, when he finally, like, for example, The Last Biggest Problem, Vito didn't know if there was going to be a show or not. So then when Dick did a show, he was all happy and he was like, you know, behaving. How's my mic? How's my video and all that kind of stuff, you know? So he's trying to play by the rules or whatever. And it's only going to be a matter of time before he deviates from the rules. But I hope the show keeps going, personally. I fucking love that show. And what Dick and Vito do on the show. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, you have to manage those personalities.
The Problems format part of the show is immaculate. I mean, like, it's a great concept. It's one of the best podcast formats ever. It's a terrific idea.
Yeah, and it keeps going, and it has unlimited potential, and it's very interesting.
Fan
every time.
engagement is built in.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a great little engineered social engine right there to keep it going. It's fantastic, and I hope it keeps going. But do you think that Vito will change, or do you think he'll stay the same? What are your thoughts on that?
I think Vito will continue to get worse in various ways over the next few years. I don't think people can change very much after 35, 36. I mean, like, let's be realistic. I'm not saying nobody can ever do anything different than they have been doing, but Vito Gesualdi is not gonna like lose weight. He's not going to, and maybe his behavior is being caused by the medical problems he keeps alluding to, but he's not gonna lose weight. It's too late for that. He's not gonna like raise a family or have a successful company. Better Call Saul. Everyone's seen it.
Yeah.
Vito's like a Jimmy McGill type guy. And if you don't go to jail as a Jimmy McGill guy and then get a good job at a Cinnabon, like you just die as a Jimmy McGill, right? If you don't go all the way through that character arc. And I just, honestly, if you asked me, I said it in my song, Vito Let Me Down. I said that I don't think that he will live long enough for Super Killer to deliver. I think he has a fatty liver. So it's I just don't think he'll necessarily make it to the end of a character arc.
Yeah.
Vito's going to be a very disappointing follow for those of you invested.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I really believe that pain is what causes people to change. And if you are always trying to avoid that pain, you're never really going to change until you become self-awakened or like enlightened and you are able to steer the course of your own life. And it seems like you are enlightened. A lot of people might not know that you're a very spiritual kind of person. What are your thoughts on how your enlightenment or what you think about life or, how you go forward?
Wow. None of us are enlightened, unfortunately. I strive towards enlightenment, but I'm never gonna get it because I have to honor this incarnation of my life. I have to be Clippa. I have to participate. Be pro-social. I have an effect on the world around me that is measurable, and it's my responsibility to participate in it that way. Unfortunately, that is the antithesis to enlightenment. That is the opposite of going up the mountain and not talking to anybody anymore because I only need to track when I rise and fall my own breath. And that's like the direction that I would take if I wasn't, who I am.
Yeah.
I invest a lot of my time in what, if I were in Japan would be obvious, but like, the Japanese like ways of living, the wabi-sabi and the kintsugi and the You have to eat like 80% to fullness, not all the way to fullness.
Yeah.
So if I weren't so sedentary, I don't even overeat that much, Ray.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
I mean,
cut the soda. So we'll see the weight loss will be effortless.
Yeah,
I haven't had soda in 15 days.
I think it will be effortless, and also if you walk, I think it'd be no problem. You'll shed it like nobody's business.
Yep.
And I agree with you. We're bound in this. It's all metaphysical, but we're bound in the earthly realm. We're always going to be reaching for that enlightenment. The actual transcendence is trying to transcend. That's a big philosophical point of view on that one. What's next for Riley? Do you have any big plans? Do you have any ideas? I know you're regrouping right now. You're getting excited. You're going to get ready to move forward. Are there? Of course, if there's secret plans, don't share them with me, bro. Keep them hush hush. But if you do have plans you could share about like maybe some goals this next year, what's on the horizon for Clippa?
Well, now that I have a job outside of this stuff for now, and that frees me to do creative things like in music. I'm gonna release an album pretty soon. People are probably looking for some kind of a continuation of my personal narrative, given the dramatic circumstances I left them off with.
Yeah. Quite the cliffhanger. Quite the cliffhanger.
Right, and I know that, and I understand the elephant in the room. Okay, I get it. So I'm going to hopefully be able to address that in some ways here or there. Artistic and fulfilling for me, if not satisfying for the audience. But, I care about the narrative and the audience. And I think it's important that, living authentically is not enough if nobody knows. So you have to, you have to share, the pain you're going through. I think you have to, or you could just do it for yourself. But again, why would we be here, right?
Right.
It's like I could just sit alone and be happy by myself in the quiet at any time. So it's important for me to learn how to bring that kind of happiness and to here and to perform it. And music is probably going to be the best way that I can connect with people. As a writer, I'm not going to be instantly loved in comic books. I want to write comic books, but I just think that people are going to find umbrage with my personality type in that space. Not you, but you see the demeanor, the temperament.
Well, I definitely think that the way that people have known you in the past, you're this very electrifying, over the top, WWE, in your face, hurrah, let's fucking go kind of guy. And we're seeing another side to you today, a very measured side, a very matured side, a big side.
Well, what's important for everyone to understand, Ray, is that I can always do this at any time. It is completely based on impulse control.
Yeah,
okay?
I love it. Yeah, I think people are probably surprised you have impulse control. You're not just the ultimate warrior running around all the time. Yeah, getting ready to fucking, go off the top turnstile.
If I needed to cut a promo, I could, at any time.
Oh, facts, bro. No doubt about that.
I'm an MC.
Yeah, do you see him coming back, or are you gonna move away from that? Are you gonna mature to a different character? What do you your public persona? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, we'll see with this album what people, because a lot of this has to do with how other people perceive you, right? If you're trying to maintain a character and not just, because I'm being myself, but I want there to be continuity for the audience to follow. So the big thing is I changed from the gray beanie to a bucket hat, and this is a step towards me wearing my cowboy hat.
Yeah.
If you go right from the beanie to the cowboy hat, maybe it feels unearned, And another thing is age. I think that I could be young Clippa for the beginning of the arc of the story, and now I'm gonna go into being more Clippa, and then I'll be Cowboy Clippa later or something.
Cowboy Clippa. Let's go.
I'll age into the Cowboys. I want to live on a ranch, dude. I've really rethought my priorities the last couple of months.
Yeah.
And I want to return to Nevada, to the mountains, the Sierra Nevada mountains, or the Ruby Mountains even.
Yeah.
And I want to have a picnic table in the back and a barbecue, and I want to have a horse out there that I can ride. Or not ride, just walk around and eat hay. So
I say, so is that the ultimate goal then, to get the Clippa Ranch?
Yeah. Cowboy Clippa on the clippaverse ranch.
Yeah,
that's the clippaverse is gonna be my brand. You see? for the cattle and or women.
That's right, and women, not just or and. You're gonna have.
Women.
maybe a sound studio or a podcast studio or something like that, because you got a great online presence, a great camera presence, and I think that as your presence matures, I think a lot of people are invested in you. That the fact that you stood up against Eric July, and he was basically a vehicle for standing up against the man kind of thing, of things that are unfair. A lot of people, me included, became invested in you as a character, as a person, and we want to see you do well, and we want to see you ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Maybe if that's what you want to do in 20 or 30 years or whatever. But we want to see you get that that horse, that cowboy, and all that kind of stuff.
I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid. So there's a lot of I have a lot of time to do this stuff. Van Gogh didn't even kill himself until 9 years after my age.
I know, bro. You got a whole night. You're basically you're Clip of the Kid right now, bro. You got a whole
there you go, Clip of the Kid. That's
right.
I like that.
You like that? You
got a Clip of the Kid would be a good cowboy bridge. See,
there you go, Clip of the
that
Kid.
Continuity of thought.
That's right, and that's where all this creativity comes from. You channel creativity, and you receive these ideas, these thoughts from a source or wherever it is out there, God or whoever, and then you go ahead and you manifest them, you create them into this world. And Clip of the Kid could be your next arc, or or whatever you do.
Just so everyone knows, that is my name. I was named after Billy the Kid, the Dalton Gang, and Tom Mix. So my real name is Billy Dalton Mix. Like that's people on Kiwi Farms or whatever know. That I had like a real name, and then I changed my name to Riley at a point. I convinced Arkansas's Vital Statistics to change my name, pretending to be my dad.
Nice.
Because I didn't want to be the other Billy in class. There was it was a whole thing.
Well, didn't you have like cowboy royalty in your family or something like that?
Tom Mix. Tom Mix was everybody should go Google him, look him up. I'm not gonna do him justice, TLDRing his credits or anything, but without Tom Mix and John Ford. You don't get John Wayne, so you don't get Clint Eastwood and Sergio Leone. So, I mean, it's my blood.
Yeah.
Tom Mix was one of Wyatt Earp's pallbearers.
Yeah.
That's the thing I like to tell people. He's the only cowboy actor who was friends with the real cowboy that all the Wild West cowboys are based on, which is Wyatt Earp.
I love
He's the only real one.
I love all of those cowboy Midwest illustrators, and they were really good artists, man. There's a whole bunch. Tennessee, I forget his last name, but I want to say Tennessee Williams, but I know that's a singer, so I know I'm going to get that wrong. Yeah, no, there's a whole bunch of them. But I don't want to hold you up too long. We're going to get out of here. It's at the top of the hour. I got this.
That was a great. That was great. That went way faster than I thought it was.
It was a lot of fun, and I got this little thing right here for you. We'll get this to you as soon as we can. The whole clip.
So beautiful, chat. Look at that. He drew all the hairs, bro. Look at that.
That's a 12 by 18, so it's 11 by 17 watercolor. So, Clippa, I just want to say, thanks for coming on. If you have any closing thoughts that you want to share, anything like that, let me know. Well, share it right now, and then we'll get on out of here.
Last thing before we get out of here, I gotta ask you, what did you think of Super Killer? Did you think it was worth the wait? I mean, pretend it came out or whatever. Because you waited for it for a while. Was it good?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was okay. I liked it. I didn't have a problem with the art. I liked the art. Of course, I saw it when everybody said it was like the second or third version of it or whatever. Yeah. And then I went back and looked and tried to watch some videos about where they had the first version of it. And I thought the first version was better. I thought some of the jokes landed better. I thought it was more coherent, And I thought it would have been good if it just came out on time. I don't know why, he delayed it. So, why it's still delayed. It hasn't been printed yet. But, I think the psychology just got the better of Vito at that point, and he kind of was struggling under that because the artist said that he had it ready. The art was ready a year before. And, I think the pressure of ripping on Eric July, I think Vito knew that same kind of criticism was going to come back at him. Yep. And so that was too heavy for him to actually put it out. So he kind of said, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And then now here we are a couple of years later, and it still hasn't come out. It hasn't been... I don't know if the money disappeared. I don't know what happened to all that. I know it's expensive to print a comic book. What I really would have loved to have happened is had Vito kind of either hire you. You're a producer. You could have made that thing happen, no problem. You could have produced that comic book, or even got Johnny Rocket involved in it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty easy to send emails to fucking vendors and to make products get sent around, and if he doesn't have financial problems, there's no reason he can't just print it.
Right.
It's just that he's like not happy with it. It's a deeply personal like thing for him. It's not. It did kill the show. The show's gonna go on, but the show's been over.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the funny thing about the biggest problem in the universe, that it has been dead for a long time.
Well, the crazy thing about that is he made the decision, you know, apart from Dick, and it impacted Dick so severely. That's what I can't wrap my mind around, and he doesn't even see that. He doesn't even
Dick's
get
not going to
that.
hold his own feet to the coal.
Yeah.
Dick's just like, wow, dude, you would kill us. Interesting.
He would. He would, bro.
would.
Don't.
That's the takeaway.
Yeah, if you're on the Titanic, don't pull him into your lifeboat, bro. He'll be over there eating your crackers and drinking all the water. You know what I'm saying? You guys are going to starve to death. Facts, yeah.
Vote up trying to save a drowning man. But I just say all that to say that there you go, Vito. I did something nice for you. I just wanted you to see. I could argue with Ray. I could explain what's so bad about your comic book. But instead, I'm going to say that people would have said that if you had released your book.
Yeah.
Like, people would have said that instead of everything else that we've been fucking saying about you, you stupid fucking reactive pig. Now go oink oink on Discord for the next 3.5 fucking days so that you can strum up some more drama that Dick's gonna have to make fun of you for, and then you can destroy the show on another 3-week spiral. You fucking idiot.
Facts. There's the Clippa that we all know and love for sure. And with that, people, I think we're gonna roll out. And thank you everybody for coming in, watching this great interview with Riley with Clippa. Sure enjoyed it. Riley, thank you so much for coming by. I'd love to have you on more often. I'd love to even get you on with the Bruvs. I know James is dying to talk to you. And everybody in the chat, shout out to you guys. Thanks so much for coming on. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Keep it in an hour. Keep it under an hour. Or a little bit over an hour. All right, let's go.